Good morning and welcome to Almus Market Mornings, your daily dose of global financial updates with me, Swaraj. The longer yields in the US continue to rise as markets truly price in the higher for longer narrative and global equities get battered. On the China front, things aren't looking optimistic either, with the state owned property developers warning of a widespread losses. So, till now, what was happening is the losses were limited to the private sector players, but now it seems this is also changing. When it comes to our own rupee continued to trade weaker, closing at 83.1475 yesterday. Good morning, JK. Take us through the updates, and I'm sure our listeners are keen to hear your thoughts on the rupee.
Good morning, Swaraj. Yes, rupee had its weakest close ever yesterday, although it was well off the all-time highs of 83.27. What was also reported was that during a break in our market on Tuesday and Wednesday, when the offshore was selling off rupee, reportedly there was intervention from the RBI in offshore market as well, and that's the reason why the USD/INR opened much lower yesterday, closer to 83.00, and then of course there was buying during the day, which took it back up to 83.15. Now it's a clear signal from the central bank that they are not ready to let the previous high, all-time high, broken. At least they are going to defend it for some time, and also the fact that China yuan has been, quite somewhat feeling good resistance around 7.35, 37, which was the previous high, is also aiding the rupee to some extent. We are hearing reports of Chinese authorities asking the state-run banks to be aggressive in their selling on the dollar against the yuan. That has cooled off the yuan a bit, and it's now trading closer to 7.30, which is also probably helping the rupee. That said, rupee is not seeing any major inflow, and that is probably also behind, or rather I would put it, the buying is much more than the inflow that we are, seeing, and that's the reason why rupee is holding above 83 for now. And with the global markets still unsettled, bond yields rising, and stock market seeing some risk off sentiment ruling, rupee is very unlikely to make any progress on its strength. Therefore, we should contend with very narrow range of 83 and 82, 83.20 very near term. We'll have to see what happens to yuan in the coming days as authorities getting more and more concerned about its fall, and also possible intervention in Japanese yen, because the last time it touched 146.30, way back in October, that's when there was a massive intervention from Bank of Japan to the extent of $40 billion US, and that is probably ruling in the minds of traders, and therefore we are in a situation where there can be intervention in two major currencies, that is the dollar yuan and the dollar yen, and any such action is likely to cool off the strong dollar and possibly help the rupee as well. So we look out for these global developments for the rupee, in the near term. On the overall markets, we did have some data from US, which was again on the stronger side. Weekly jobless claims fell slightly, coming in about 1,000 below the consensus. And we also had fully fed manufacturing, where the index is back to growth side after the first uptick since May 2022, and there was improvement on almost all the indicators, including the prices paid, which was higher, although the employment did decline. We also had the conference board's leading the economic indicator index, which is very important for forward-looking view of the economy, and there it fell for 16th consecutive month in July, signaling that the outlook has continued to remain quite uncertain. So it has declined by 0.4% in July 2023 to 105.8, following a decline of 0.7% in June. Now, on the other hand, the coincident indicator, which tracks the economic activity right now, has continued to grow, but quite slowly but consistently. So there's a mixed economic outlook from the conference board, but the data on jobless claims and Philly Fed were really encouraging. Also, we had more news on China property developer Evergrande, the most indebted developer in the world with almost 330 billion of liabilities, has reportedly filed for bankruptcy. Now, on the markets, long duration liquidation continued on Thursday on the treasuries, leading the 10s and 30s to hit our target of 4.40 on the 30-year and also 4.30 on the 10-year yield. And although they have come off a bit, possibly on some profit taking ahead of the weekend, also because of the fact that there can be some sort of intervention. These may be leading players, but then the trend is really not changed, and it is still on the uptrend unless we break below 4.10 on the 10-year. We expect more gains in the yields. The current bond market turmoil, of course, is due to the extra borrowing by the US government, which is running an oversized deficit this year. And and the 30-year yield reaching highest since 2011 at 4.42 must be some worrisome for the policymakers who are looking to raise more money to bridge the deficit and also to build their treasury general account balances. So that that concern on the bond market continues. And we also had the stock market, which was reeling under some pressure because of the high yield, and also the good news on the economy, which was seen as bad news, meaning higher rates for longer in US. S&P 500 suffered its third consecutive daily fall in the current cycle, to fall more than 5% from its July highs. And also the UK FTSE, for example, and the Euro 50 are 6% lower than their July high. So that speaks of overall sentiment in the stock market because of the major market that's coming up. On the currencies, as I already said, CNY and yen are looking for some support from the authorities to regain some ground, but we'll see what action is ahead in the coming session. Euro and GBP are holding their recent ranges, and not much there, but then undertone looks to be one of dollar strength, and that should be slight concern for the emerging market currencies as well. Interestingly, we had 9% fall in the Bitcoin overnight, and that is down to some very large investor selling in the Bitcoin. It's down from 29,600 to 26,700, which is very notable. Finally, there are two important summits that are coming up next week. One is the annual Jackson Hole Summit in USA, hosted by Federal Reserve, attended by central bank leaders from all over the world. Central bankers discuss the world events and financial trends, and the discussions at Jackson Hole are watched for economic news and specifically for likely direction of the global interest rate policies. Now, Chairman Powell's speech is scheduled at 7:30 on next Friday in India time. The other summit I'm referring to is the BRICS summit, that is the Brazil, China, Russia, India, and South Africa, which is held at Johannesburg this time on 22nd and 23rd August, that is in the coming week. This summit this month has assumed a lot of attention, as there are some indications that this group of nations will float a new common currency, possibly backed by gold, as part of the de-dollarization process. And some are tending to call it as a BRICS currency, but then it's too early to speculate on this because there are conflicting reports whether it will be done announced this summit or not. But we'll be watching developments in this regard and keep you all updated. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, JK. And as you mentioned, rupee had the weakest closing yesterday, closing at 83.1475. But it seems that Chinese yuan and the Japanese yen both are at good possible intervention levels, where the central banks can step up to ease the pressure which is facing this currency in the near term. At least it seems rupee might be trading in a narrow range of 83 and 83.20. When it comes to China, there was more bad news as Evergrande, which is the most indebted property developer, filed for bankruptcy. We keep tracking the yields, especially on the longer end, which continue to face an upward pressure, which is in terms of the yields going higher. And when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin fell 9%, backed by rumors of selling by a large investor company. That's, of course, linked to Mr. Elon Musk. In the coming week, we have two major conferences. One is the BRICS and one is the Jackson Hole Symposium. We'll keep following this updates. That's it from us today. Have a very good weekend and tune in tomorrow. Tune in on Monday for another round of fresh updates. Thanks for listening.